Hi viewers, did you miss me? I didn't miss you. Anyways, if I release this on time, today is Valentine's Day, and I figured since you seemed like the type of person who, let's be honest, would have anyone to give Valentine's Day chocolates to, I figured I'd return the favor and give you some chocolates. Don't take this the wrong way though, it's not like I set this background up for you or anything. I didn't really think you were worth the time, so I just bought some cake mix for the cake. I'm not gonna make anything from scratch for you. Besides the cookies, but that's different. You know what's really sad? Even though I made the background over there, the lighting here is better, so for the sake of my dignity, I will keep talking here. Wow. Using bright lighting, my hair is friggin' ridiculous. Today's theme is lovely complex. I shouldn't do my hair the way guys would do it 20 years ago, but because I am not born 20 years ago, well, no wait, I am. Because I was not born 30 years ago, I'm really bad at it.
Let's get talking.
Today I'm going to be making checkerboard cookies, which I'm sure if you watch anime, you've seen like 1,000 times in every single home ec or Valentine's Day special episode. Obviously, usually it's the girls preparing guys their chocolate traditionally, but it's not like we're dating or anything, so I'm just giving you these. Well, we're not friends, so I can't say I'm giving you these as a friend. Can you tell that I've never baked before in my life? Obviously, I've used like cake mix in like boxes, right? But because I'm someone who is talentless, I just order takeout all the time. It was my first time baking from scratch. I modified the recipe to use less butter by asking ChatGPT to do that and converted all the measurements into tablespoons since I didn't have a scale. Turns out that was a big mistake and I spent an hour slowly trying to incorporate the butter I was too lazy to melt into flour that was clearly not the right portion. You're supposed to make 2 batches for each color, but because of the dryness issue, I decided to combine them and split them into half, which complicated things. Since I was weighing the proportions, the dough was way too sticky and lumpy, so it was super deformed when I got to the rolling pin stage, and the dough kept bursting out of the cling film, so I already had the sinking suspicion that the cookies would not turn out well at all. I have to wear gloves since my constant hand washing makes my hands so dry that they randomly start bleeding sometimes, like on my knuckles, which is why the cookies may have a slight metallic taste. So far, it's only been a few minutes for you, but for me, it's been over an hour and a half, and I have violated way too many food safety laws. I didn't think that my cookies would turn out this badly, so I was gonna give some to like the door lady or something, but I feel like if I gave them to anybody, it would be a serious legal risk to me, so I'm just going to eat them myself. Or if they turn out inedible, I'm going to just be very sad, I guess. Now, I don't really cook much, but I always thought it was an exaggeration in anime when girls that are really clumsy cook food and it turns out with a bunch of purple mist, but I'm pretty sure I am one of those purple mist girls. Yesterday, in preparation for making this cookie thing, I decided to reheat my burrito that I got for takeout in my oven, but I'm really stupid, right? I forgot that some types of paper aren't, oven safe. And I open the door and I hold the burrito, and as I hold the burrito, it lights on fire. So I shove it back in, close the door, and see my oven engulfed in flames. And so, first of all, I thought, well, that could have gone much, much, much worse. I could have self-immolated, I could have died, I could have been disfigured. And as I'm thinking that, I'm just looking at the burning oven, panicking, and don't ask me for proof because I have survival skills, so I didn't whip out my phone and start recording the fire. But I also didn't want to trigger the fire alarm because I was really anxious. More so about the inconvenience of the fire department coming, more so than burning the house down. So I filled my heart-shaped container for the cake, which you'll see later, with water, but it's a silicone mold, so it's like really wobbly. I open the door and I pour the water in, and I ended the fire. However, you're not supposed to do that at all, kids. You're supposed to just close it and wait until it runs out of fuel, because the flood of oxygen is gonna like make the fire grow stronger. I didn't learn that by instinct. I googled how to put out fire after I put out the fire, just so that I know for the next time. While the cookie dough chilled in the fridge, I started making the brownie batch, thinking, surely nothing could go wrong with this simple brownie mix. But I forgot it takes 20 whole minutes just to whisk together the eggs and brownie mix. I'm super lazy, so I didn't want to wash the spatula from earlier and just tried to transfer the mix into the cake mold by hand, and as you can imagine, it got stuck on my gloves, so I had to go back and wash the spatula and do it the regular way, because nothing ever goes right for me. After the first round of baking the brownies, they ended up being completely raw in the center, and it was still a bit raw by the second round, but I just stopped caring by that point. I had a hard time with making the frosting art since I forgot to wait for it to cool, but I left a very cute message for you that shows you exactly how I feel. Ta-da! Before I continue with the cookies, I'm going to have some of this for dinner because I haven't eaten yet. And as I'm recording this audio, I exhibit no signs of salmonella or other stomach infection, so rest assured, be totally safe for you to consume. Okay, so now that I've had my fun eating, I have to resume and commence with the cookies. In the recipe that I looked at, I have to cut it into strips and then stack them together to make checkerboard pieces, so we'll see how it goes. The original chef in the recipe I watched used a lot of millimeter precise measuring, which I clearly have no patience for. The chocolate dough turned out marginally better, but it was still clumpy and gross. Since cutting the dough is self-explanatory from the footage, let me tell you about this funny story. The other day I was walking to class and I was about to take a seat that I sat in the last week, but I'd only sat there a single time, and I saw this white envelope with pink felt tip writing, and I got really scared that the seat was already taken. I ran away and I sat at the back, and if this was an anime, you could be like, oh, maybe it's for you because it's clearly a love letter, but it obviously wasn't, since there was like 3 other classes before, so somebody probably left it behind, but since I ran away before reading it and its contents, I couldn't really see who it was for. It's college, so it's more likely that it's just people messing around in class, but I've been curious for weeks now. Surprisingly, even though it doesn't look professional, I would say that the checkerboard effect came out pretty well. Anyways, I thought my incorrect portioning didn't have any consequences until I started putting them in the oven and they started to bubble and seize violently, but maybe it was just something that happens to all homemade cookies. It is now midnight, and I'm finally done waiting for the cookies to cool. Yay. Unfortunately, the cookies did come out burnt, which I tried to disguise by packaging them in these cheap little Amazon baggies, but it didn't help the taste of dried tar in my mouth when I tasted them. Happy Valentines to Net Moriori, Cod, Hani, Zeno, Amy Louise, Chihyo Kinesis, Angeli, Chat Bagyu, Sammy, Bree, iced coffee, and milk tea. To all other members of my growing harem who didn't get screen time this episode, I hope you've all had a nice Valentine's Day, and if you didn't, I hope it got better after watching this video. And it's not like I want you to give me money or anything, but bonus content, custom emojis, and even more benefits await if you do. The base here is always the lowest price in your region, and thank you all for watching. Watch my old videos if you haven't. Bye!